Mash did not react vocally to any colleague of mine today. He didn't freeze, he didn't grumble. He willingly approached and investigated and sniffed every single person that works here that we saw today. That is a huge step forward in my book. Up to this point, we have had several kind of freeze and stare and even some grumbly, growly, barky situations during our session. Today, it was 100% curiosity. Even outside, which is the second piece of information and big win that I had with him today, I worked on his retractable leash outdoors. And I don't often enjoy using a retractable leash on a dog, but seeing how much more joyful he was working outside on a retractable leash with me was so wonderful. I can't believe what a turnaround there has been between that 6-foot lead and just his kind of slow plodding, kind of tense maneuvering next to me, and that retractable leash creating this bouncy, happy, smiley guy that was routinely checking in with me, would go out almost to the end of the leash, but never actually pulled it taut once. Not any time. Before he turned and checked in with me, he readily came back when I called his name outside. There was only one incident where he reacted vocally, and I wanted to try and work through that problem because I know you mentioned that it happens on your walks with him at home too. So the incident was when we were on our retractable leash outside. We were enjoying ourselves, exploring a little bit. I wasn't working on any kind of pretty perfect heel. I'm just letting him be a dog. And we had a client come out of their car more than 50 feet away with another leashed dog. Mash froze, had his head up, kind of locked eyes onto this stranger and the strange dog that were more than 50 feet away, and then alert barked twice, so those are like big, loud, distance increasing I see you barks, before whining and pivoting real quick to kind of scamper away and sniff the ground near me. So all of that was actually pretty manageable. I didn't try to tug on him or reel him in. I let him decide when he wanted to retreat. I only used my voice to let him know that I was there and he had another option. And it was when he heard me say his name and then say the let's go cue, and also probably heard me stepping away from the situation, that's when he pivoted away from his barking and retreated to come sniff the ground. So what I would recommend that you do is, rather than trying to get him into a sit until these strange people move past that he's barking at or reacting at, try to get him to move away from the situation, whether that's just up a driveway a little bit that you have in front of you, or if you've got like a reservoir pond nearby that you can do a quick lap around, or even if it's just moving backwards back down the street. Just get him to turn and move away from that reaction, and then see if you can encourage him to sniff the ground somehow. Sniffing is a great self-soothing behavior for a dog because it breaks that really frustrating eye contact that they build up when they see distractions and helps them gather information about their more immediate surroundings. So it really helps calm them down. They can gain more information about what's nearby that's safe without feeling the need to just hard focus on whatever it was that caused them to react in the first place. You can use physical affection to get that response, to help him kind of shake it off and sniff the ground. You can try to have some treats with you and drop some treats on the ground. I've noticed that when he's outdoors, he's a little less food motivated than when he's inside, but physical affection works for him. He loves that. So we recovered pretty readily from that, and then I wanted to make sure we ended on a positive note with the stranger danger situation. So we had a technician come outside with us, and she was just doing another activity. She wasn't trying to directly engage with Mash at all, and I just let him decide if he wanted to approach her or not. Initially, we did kind of hard freeze and had our tail tucked and kind of chuffed. There was just a little low chuff at the technician. Her name's Bailey. But she did a great job just ignoring him, not acknowledging him. And I actually used the words say hello to kind of invite him to approach her, which he did. He approached her. She just kind of subtly offered a hand. He sniffed the hand and then turned and looked back at me. I marked that with yep and encouraged him to come back to me to get even more affection after checking out Bailey with no strings attached. She wasn't going to try and force any love on him that he didn't want. And so he ended on a really positive note there. So the takeaways from outdoor exercise day today. One, encourage him to just disengage from whatever it is he's reacting to before asking for performance. Wait for him to move his eyes away off of that distraction before you ask him to do things for you. And use physical affection to reward him just breaking contact with that distraction or that stressor. Two, try to end on a positive note on your walks. Make sure maybe a family member comes out and greets him before you head back in so that he can see a familiar face and have a positive experience approaching someone. Or if you feel comfortable enough with a neighbor that's just out and about on the street, ask if it's okay for him to come over and say hi before you turn around and head home. That way he gets used to not having to have that strong reaction before you walk back in the house and wrap things up for the day. Okay? I am really impressed with the progress he's made. As far as working on veterinary acclimation, I really think just like one more good session and then having a game plan going forward of, hey, we need kind of less is more restraint. We need to make sure that he has familiar faces around him and that affection is used in the midst of any restraint to kind of mitigate whatever stress that might build, to have hands on him. I also think that it's going to be beneficial to just have periodic drop-off days where he just gets to hang out and see everybody without having the inherent poking and prodding that some veterinary visits are going to have, okay? But I'm seeing good things, and I really think that one more session is really just going to solidify these positive experiences. I am going to aim during our last session to get him into the treatment space and try to replicate a few of the more minor standards procedures that we have to practice during an exam. Okay? Let me know if you have any questions about loose leash walk or outdoor engagement with him, and social greetings. And I look forward to seeing him again next week.